Right. Today, need to go back to my slides here. Let me. Right. So this unfaithful and diligently apply the Dharma. Right. The initial verse, when we hear the Dharma and take it to heart, we can faithfully apply it without doubt. So the two things here: faithfully apply it, meaning we live with the Dharma, we live life in accord with the Dharma, and without doubt. So we must have faith in the Dharma. So before this, obviously, Master already explained that this is the teaching is genuine because the Buddha already attained supreme enlightenment. So therefore, we must have faith in that. We earnestly put the teachings into practice and uphold them completely. So this is the part about upholding the Dharma. And obviously, for the monastic, they have to do more than 200 vows for the monks and more than 300 vows for the nuns. So for us, we only, very simply, we only have 5 precepts to uphold. And obviously, we got the 10 wholesome deeds and Tzu Chi that we also uphold. So this upholding and the undertakings that we have, and this is the commitment, if you like, for us to be in practice. And we'll come towards the end when I'll speak a little bit more about this. We are attentive and diligent as we engage in listening, contemplating, and practicing. So for me, when you listen with your heart. What do you mean by listening with your heart is listen to the question in your heart. Then the Dharma will become meaningful because it answers the questions inside you. So therefore, like Sister Effie just mentioned, then we listen to Dharma, obviously the condition that she's coming from, and all of us have different conditions. So when we listen to the Dharma and take it to heart, then you absorb different meanings of that same Dharma. Then we need to sit down and contemplate. But before we contemplate on this, we need to know and understand from what we have listened. Then after realization from your contemplation, you apply that into your practice. And that's how you get absorbed to do that. So therefore, if we just listen, and this is often Master always saying this, but when we listen, do we practice? So this contemplation, for you to sustain this is the power of sustenance. This one here, contemplation, you've got to do it daily. So not only daily, I do it throughout the day. Okay, then you'll stick and apply that. So we renounce the suffering of the 3 realms and seek the joy of tranquility. So when you renounce the suffering, meanings, how can you renounce suffering? I mean, the pain is there. So how can you just renounce the pain? The pain is with you. So therefore, we need to go back to the cause of suffering, right? So you go back to the cause of suffering, and the cause of suffering is your own afflictions, right? So if you renounce those afflictions, if you renounce those indulgences that you have, then you'll be at peace. And this is what I mean, to seek the joy of tranquility. So Master's explanation here, as we engage in spiritual practice, we must faithfully accept, which relates back to the point on the first line, right? We should accept without doubt. That means, and practice the Dharma. Only then we can put it in practice step by step. And this is important to understand here, step by step. Let's see, I think very often that when we are in practice, you are not competing with anybody, and it's very, 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 one got to be very mindful about this, because each karmic blueprint, each one of us is different. So, and what is more meaningful to you is how well you take that step, and how well you take that step is how well you can awaken your inner being to learn the Dharma. And this is what you can take it inside you. And so this step by step is a very gradual progress, and which will come towards the end, and Master will in the notes today we have taken down, reminded us. So when the Dharma enters our minds, we cannot leak. So therefore, I mentioned about the heart, because for the Dharma to enter your mind, first of all, you got to enter the heart. And why is it the heart? Because if the heart is not virtuous, any Dharma spoken is meaningless. When the heart is virtuous, any Dharma, any single word will enter the mind. So therefore, why is it that someone will go all the way to seek for teachings, to faraway places, to look for someone high up in the mountains? And that's because they have this heart in them to seek the Dharma. So remember, I always mention, where the desire resides is in your heart. So that desire is desire to seek for the truth. So that desire, because we are in the desires realm, so the desire in the heart, instead of desire for indulgence of worldly pleasures, it becomes a desire to seek the Dharma. So therefore, and when we do that, and when heart is virtuous, then it cannot leak. By upholding the Dharma diligent with purity, it will not leak. And this is the diligent part of practice. And I would try to answer brother's quiz question towards the later part. And this rests on this word here about diligence. We must continue doing this second after second thought of the thought. So look at this one, second after second thought of the thought. As thought is actually, a thought can arise in a split second, right? So, but our life is actually only a moment, and a moment can be less than a second in a kalpa. So therefore, when we look at this sentence, second after second thought of the thought, it's life after life. And that's what we have to be in the practice. And that's only then that we, in that diligent practice, that the Dharma cannot leak. So as we listen and practice the Buddha Dharma, we must first understand our general environment, the state of the world, and the way people live. And this is especially so, this sentence here is especially so very important for us as a householder in practice, because the general environment that we are in is a householder. The state where we are in a house, we're in a worldly life. And the people we live in, we are not in a monastic. So we live amongst the non-practitioners, right? So look at your family members, for example, your relatives, your friends, your colleagues. So you live among them. So therefore, we have all these factors of influencing us all the time as a householder in practice. And so we therefore, we got to be very mindful. And so this mindfulness, because we don't, for example, in the course of the work, you and your subordinate has not done the job very well. So are you going to be very gentle and going to be very kind, say, don't worry, I'm going to do your work for you. And if you do that, what's going to do? The subordinate will know that you are so kind and you're going to do the work, finish the work for you. You know what? You'll get lazy and lazy. So where is the wisdom behind that then, when you apply the Dharma to your daily life? So there's a lot of questions that we have to answer, and only you can learn to apply that Dharma. Right? So, and here, and you analyze it and you break it down. What about the general environment? What about your relatives, your friends? What about your children? So there are a lot of factors influencing us all the time. And so in this here, in the diligent practice, I won't run through this is very detailed. Just put it down in a note form so that in it was a story between Ananda and the Buddha, and among the bhikkhus were questioning as to why Ananda has so diligent in his practice and able to remember every word of the Dharma to heart. So they wanted to understand what were the causes and the condition behind this for Ananda to have the capability to do so. So then Buddha told the story about countless kalpas ago. So all this affinity has been established many lifetimes ago. And so there was this this disciple who chanted sutra, and loved to chant the sutra and listen to the Dharma. But every time he has to go out and beg for alms. And you know that if he go on with an empty bowl, he would face a lot of pressure. So until the young bhikkhu encountered an elderly, and he noticed that he was crying, and so he said, "Why don't you come to my home? I'll give you the offerings." So that's such the affinity between the Buddha and Nanda, and it was said in the story here that Master explained. When I was reading through this, I thought the young novice was Ananda, but no, it was young novice was actually the Buddha. So and the elder was actually Ananda, and so the story is that because Ananda at that time was the elder, by helping other people succeed, we are also helping ourselves to succeed. So the more affinities that we establish with others, when that other person that we have affinity attain the wisdom, then be able to share in a future life and be able to guide and lead you. And these are the spiritual friends that we need to develop. And that's how the affinity that we have. So we are interested to have this awakened nature through suchness, which is the inherent wisdom in all of us. And this inherent wisdom is the Buddha nature or the pure nature. So therefore, that's why if you read the Heart Sutra, and then one part that is very interesting, the Heart Sutra says that there is no attainment. So, and first time I read that, so what am I doing? Since there's no attainment, so what is it that I'm pursuing? So what it means is that if the true suchness, the awakened nature of true suchness is intrinsic within you, what is there to attain? It's already inside you. So what we have to do, therefore, if you understand that part and then the Heart Sutra on the emptiness part of it, what we are doing in this lifetime is getting rid. We are in a path of losing. We are losing what we have gathered through many, many past lives in the path of purification, because they accumulated so much dirt in all of us that we need to lose all of them. And then you unveil that true suchness. So in the process of doing, and that's where we let go, we extinguish all the things we have gathered through kalpas of lifetimes. So our interests have been nurtured in the course of our past lifetimes. And so therefore, we just did not suddenly come and encounter the Dharma today and listen to the Dharma. So this affinity we have established many, many lifetimes, that what Master is explaining. So we learn the Dharma in the past life. We will be joyous when we hear it in this life. So when you hear the Dharma, so why is it that you have so much affinity that you will go all your way to do that? So, you know, so very quickly just share with you, when I was working in KPMG, you know, I don't leave the office until late. Before I got married, I don't leave the office until 10 p.m. I'm always the last one to turn off the lights. There's no chance for me to really be able to learn much about the Dharma at the time, because you're building a career and then you're a householder, and so that's a fact of life. But as I beginning to learn a bit more and more, and although I started many years ago, but I just said I try to devote more and more time. I was fighting between my time allocation at work and the time that I can listen to the Dharma, and it was very much a rush. So most of the time, by the time I reached to listen to Dharma in the evening, I never had my dinner, so it was like I just straight from work. Imagine my mind is already so clogged up with all the pressure from work, and I rush in to listen to Dhamma. But these are the things and the condition that we have to face. So we have to try to understand and try to then realize that why is it I would do that, but others, none of my colleagues would do that. So these are the things that you beginning to understand, and this is and Master said this thing have been going through many lifetimes. So this is the gradual method the Buddha used to form the karmic connections, and this will take many lifetimes. So the best powerful powers of the hearers. Now they're also, the Vajrayana have also have a definition of powers. The Theravada practice also have, therefore, powers of practice, and there are two different forms and different names. But here in this case, as I mentioned, about the power of the cause, and obviously the cause that we have established, and this is the cause of unearthing that inherent wisdom in us, and that's what we are doing. Now, power of spiritual friends, this is interesting because this is talking about the affinity the one has. I mean, we do not sit here, listen to the Zoom together from it just happened the way things happen. We probably have some form of affinities in the past. What affinity we are, because we are not enlightened beings, so we do not know. So then that's the power intention, and this is about ourselves, that we might be inspired that yes, we have that intention, and what drives you, right? So why does it one would seek the Dharma? Why does one seek to listen to the Dharma? So why do I go all the way to, despite all the traffic jam that I had to face and things like that? Sometimes you can find an excuse because it's raining, therefore I wouldn't go. And these are sometimes the tests that we face. And sometimes when I go and listen to the Dharma, and the circumstances that I got to fight the traffic jam, sometimes I'm going to fight the weather, but yet you would still go and listen. So obviously Zoom today has made things a lot easier, and the power of sustenance. This is about diligence and getting into a diligent practice so that we can sustain the practice. So I would try to answer Brother Chris' question, and this is very much personal on my side. So lessons learned. Nirvana is also translated as crossing into extinction by extinguishing all afflictive phenomena. So crossing into extinction, when you're actually extinguishing all you're extinguishing your samsaric life. And you can only do that by extinguishing all afflictive phenomena. That means you're totally purified. You purify all your karmic seeds. So you have extinction of your karmic seeds, extinguish whatever afflictions you have in the eighth consciousness. That means you will attain then by time you attain supreme enlightenment, and that's where Nirvana is. So that extinction refers to the eighth consciousness. To bring the extinction, we need the 37 factors of enlightenment, consisting of the fourfold mindfulness, the four right efforts, the four bases of fulfilling powers, the 5 spiritual roots and the 5 spiritual powers, the 7 factors of enlightenment, and the 8 noble eightfold power, to add up to 37. Now we come into this one because we have lost our wisdom and have grown in ignorance. So our wisdom is, you see the word loss, I will put it in quote actually, because that inherent wisdom has been with us, right? So it's just been buried through all this lifetime of dirt buried in all of us, and that's why we need to extinguish all this. So, and because we walk in a moist path, and obviously we're amongst the people, and in doing so, we limit our afflictions. We also help to liberate others. So we need to uphold the Dharma, and this is the point that Sister Irene mentioned. It's difficult to uphold the Dharma. It's obviously difficult to uphold the Dharma. So it's easy to uphold the Dharma. Everyone will be enlightened in a moment. So therefore, this journey is of one of immeasurable distance. This is why saying that the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a step. So we just take the first step. So you got to take it. My master said earlier in the teaching, he says take it step by step. So we need to engage in a diligent practice. Now, then Brother Chris was mentioning, they got the 4 powers, you got the 7 factors of enlightenment, all these things. How do one understand the teaching and the Dharma and be able to because every time we listen, the new teaching, new factors will come in. So we pile up all of them, there's a lot to learn. Okay, so is there a way that we put in a diagram that we can be able to understand? My answer to Brother Chris is yes, there is, but I never shared it because because Master never taught about it, so I don't share it. Okay, so I only share with you all what Master teaches. Okay, but let me try to answer your question. Is this? I put down there, engage in a diligent practice. And the question is, what do you mean by diligent practice? Now, and this is personal to me, okay? And you won't find it in any books. And I gather all the what I've learned and I put it into what you call a committed practice. So in the committed practice, I have 5 commitments that I undertake. So everything that I've learned, I will put it all under these 5 boxes, if you like. My first box is that I undertake with diligence. I grow in virtue and wisdom steadily. Okay, so it's diligence and steady. Okay, with diligence, I grow in virtue and wisdom steadily. My second box is with determination. I uphold the stillness of my desire and emotion seriously. Okay, I will come to that, explain a bit more later. The third one is that with discipline, I vow to fulfill, with discipline, I fulfill my vows of practice strictly. And my fourth category, my fourth basket is with dedication, I gain higher learnings from life becomings steadfastly. And my last box is, my last box is to surrender my life. Okay, the last part is with devotion. I undertake to take on the contemplative path of practice sincerely. Okay, so that means I surrender my life, this life. To me, my guru is Gan En, so I surrender my life to Gan En to undertake this practice sincerely. So these are my 5 boxes. So everything everything that I learned, I put into these 5 boxes. So the first box is for me to grow in virtues and wisdom. The second box is for me to uphold my desire and emotion. My third box is for me to fulfill my vows of practice. My fourth box is to learn from my life, from my life becomings. And my last box is to surrender my life. Okay, so but obviously there is a diagram for all these things, which maybe when the condition is right, and then I will share with you at some time in the future. So for Irene, you just need to take one step. Why I say one step is because, you know, all you need is only to know one thing. You don't need to know everything, because the way the Dharma works is that you realize one thing, you will unfold the next. Okay, so don't have to remember everything that you learn. Just only one thing, and the one thing is the one that touches your heart, and that's all you need to do to begin. So in contemplation, even when you are in practice, do not grasp onto your ways or stop at the pointed finger of the master. You see, very often that I've come across a lot of practitioners that this is purely based on my observation, of course, and a lot of them they're actually stuck at the point of finger. Okay, so but the thing is that the path has been shown, must point the path to us. The path has been shown, so we need to walk with diligence. We cannot be stuck at the pointed finger. So whilst you show your respect and reverence to the master, you must realize that you must walk the path alone, because no one can walk for you. So the greatest reverence and gratitude you can offer to the master is that of a diligent practice. So this is relating to today. On relationship, now this I'm sharing with you today on relationship is about emptiness. Okay, there is no darkness, only absence of light. So darkness doesn't even exist. So I mean, does it exist? And there's no such thing as darkness, right? It's just purely an absence of light. And same thing, there's no greed, only absence of generosity. And there's no anger, only absence of loving kindness. And there's no ignorance, only absence of wisdom. So for the awakened one, sees the absence of the defilements. So we understand this, all the afflictions that we have is all emptiness of the skandhas, is it not? So therefore, this is what we got to discern, so that when we do this, you get a harmonious relationship and not grasping into our ways. All right, Gan En brothers and sisters, thank you so much.
Yeah, another very intoxicating session with our brother Chin. Yes, indeed, I cannot agree with Brother Mo.